I may have to check that out. So many signs are listed. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order on Tuesday, January 12th, 2016. Happy New Year to all, and if you all please rise, I'll lead us in the pledge. At 6:36. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Present.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Here.
George Ann Duperstein.
Here.
Barrett.
Here.
Hein.
Here.
Daly.
Here.
And George Duperstein.
Here.
Okay, so we are in quorum with the full board. If I could have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
George Ann Duperstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Here. Daly.
I'm going aye.
I think mine were my eyes. And George Duperstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, I'm gonna hold back the crowd. I got one possible taker for public comments. What do you say?
None at this time.
Or videographer? Videographer, anything? Okay. All right. All right, can I have a motion for approval of the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
George, sorry. Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
George Ann Duperstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duperstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay.
I know, I just turned it down.
Here, I'll hide that, put my phone in turn on, see if that comes. Still whistling.
There.
Okay. All right. Village engineer is dismissed, working on another project this evening. Our attorney is on a short vacation. We allow that as well. So we're going to move on to Public Works. Terry Brown.
Thanks, Mayor. A couple things. Dave Schultz and Tyler have been out doing a little cleanup with the recent snow and knocking down some of those big piles that we've had in the cul-de-sacs and those areas.
Ice. They're ice.
And ice, and they are
Yeah.
ice. And along with some cleanup around some of the fire hydrants that had gotten buried during the snow cleanup as well. So you'll see them doing a little bit of that work. I do want to say that I think we've done a real good job again with these recent snow cleanups. I know it's tough and we know we can't please everybody all the time. I think 99.5% of our residents are pretty pleased with what we're doing. Very fortunately, you, Mayor, and Trustee George Duperstein and Trustee Daly had an opportunity to walk around the Public Works garage with a couple of our job applicants for the Public Works position. And I was very pleased to see that you all were very pleased with the progress that we've made with the Public Works garage and how it's organized and things are cleaned up and we're in good shape. And as I mentioned at each meeting, we're ready for our next event all the time because again, these are the types of things that we want to see with our new person when we do have our new person to stay organized and be ready for things like that. One other item you'll see in your packet, I did give you two reports. One is a Public Works report and the other is a sewer and water report. There's going to be a cost savings to the village, probably in the neighborhood of $400, I would guesstimate, The fluoride that is added to the water, those levels have been lowered by the United States Health and Human Services Department, along with the Illinois Department of Public Health. Because the natural fluoride in the water in Hainesville is high, we barely will have to add any more fluoride chemical. We'll
Which is good. That's excellent.
We'll still disinfect with chlorine like we always do, but we will greatly reduce the amount of fluoride. So we should see, in terms of chemicals for 2016, probably at least a $400 savings.
And Terry, not to interrupt, but I know the trustees are looking for your reports. I have a copy of a report. Kathy just went to get the pile. They have not been distributed to the trustees. There was a little confusion with our deputy clerk on that. So she is getting the reports to be distributed right now.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
$400, that per month?
No,
Per year?
for a year. We spend right now, I think we spend about $600 per year on fluoride. We don't have to feed a lot, but just the fact that we're getting a reduction in that, I think is a good thing. And finally, the Department of Public Health realizes that even though fluoride is a good thing to prevent tooth decay in children, in adults it maybe isn't as effective as
You can overdo fluoride.
you can overdo fluoride. Exactly. With that said, then if anybody has a question regarding anything, otherwise that's it for me.
Yeah, so Kathy is getting those reports distributed, so Terry, I know you never mind a phone call if they.
Never, please.
Yeah.
Please
somebody has
call
a
me.
question. Okay. And again, my thanks to Terry. He's been doing a tremendous job with our screening of applicants, and we do think we have our final two candidates. We have our first that we're going to proceed with the background check, so we'll be moving forward and have more updates on that in the very near future. So that's
Thank you,
news.
Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we're going to move on to our police chief, Chief Perlini.
Good evening. I would just like to remind everyone to lock their cars, and if you have any valuables inside your car, take them out or at least hide them along with the garage door opener. In case you don't know, over the holidays, when the kids are back from school or out of school, we seem to always have a rash of car burglaries, or as we call them, beer burglaries, where people go into open garages and take beer out of refrigerators and things. We have recently in the west side of Grays Lake, and it's usually the west side of Grays Lake and the east side of Hainesville, that have been getting hit. We have made 2 burglary arrests in the last 2 weeks, and we're working on some other suspects for the car burglaries, and the car burglaries are likely juvenile. So just by keeping your car locked, they usually won't break into it. They'll usually just check if it's locked, and if it's locked, they won't go in. If it's unlocked, they'll go in. And they probably entered about, altogether over the last 2 or 3 weeks, about 35 to 40 cars in Grays Lake and Hainesville. So that's about all I got.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the chief?
Yeah, quick one. While I was out on the road this weekend, I had my radios going in the truck for keeping me occupied. What happened with the car in the pond thing, with the call out, the divers and everything?
Well, it was a call out for divers, but they soon realized that the driver of the vehicle was out of the vehicle, and the subsequent investigation led to a suspect and ended in an arrest.
Oops, okay.
Everybody's fine.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer Kelly Hensley.
Good evening. Just an update for the last couple of weeks. I've completed and mailed out the 1099s. This is the first process using the new software, and it went very smooth. Support led me exactly what I needed to do, and I got to play around with the system and reporting with it a little bit. So those have been processed and mailed out to our vendors. The audit presentation will be at the January 26th meeting. It is now required that the firm of the audit, a member of the auditing firm does the presentation, so I won't be doing it. So they'll be doing the presentation. I think John DeLand, he's been here before. It's been a while. He's met with Jerry and myself. So he'll be here January 26th to do the presentation of the audit. I have some budget requests received, and I'm working on them, and I sent out a few questions to others. And the progress on the budget at this point this year compared to 2015, I'm ahead of the game. And I was looking back at last year, why it delayed a little bit, preparing for the conversion of the software. It took a lot of my time during this time, so. But I'm ahead of the game with the budget right now, and the mayor and I will be meeting over the next day or two to go over a few more things. So pretty soon we'll be sitting down and going through some budget crunches and that, with Trustee Daly. Utility training is going very well. She's coming along nicely with it, and so it's relieving some more of my time to get back to the treasurer's desk. And that's all I have tonight.
Any questions for the treasurer? Okay, move on to our village clerk, Kathy Metzler.
I've just been reviewing and updating the website, and Deputy Clerk Stark and I will be looking at the new renewal process with BSNA, which is going to be right around the corner, and working on my budget.
Okay, very good. Yes. Okay, moving on to mayor's report. Again, I want to say Happy New Year to all. We're very excited about 2016. I personally am calling it on my personal level as well as on the municipal level. It's going to be Sweet 16. We still have challenges. We certainly have challenges in Illinois, but the good news is things are slowly starting to get more positive, and so that's exciting. We have a lot of exciting projects and work ahead of us this year. So we'll be meeting twice a month, and instead of reducing to once a month, at least from now well into the spring. For summer, we'll see what happens. What I have passed out to everyone, back in October, with us meeting only once a month, I realized it was harder for the Board of Trustees to be kept up to date on ongoing projects outside of the day-to-day process, since we're only meeting once a month. So I started composing a weekly memo, which I emailed to the board and the staff, and it just lets them know the progress on certain projects and issues that are ongoing. And so it's been a useful tool for most of us. It even helps me go back and remember what I've relayed to you, what gaps I need to fill. However, that being said, I want to remind everyone, trustees, officials, you need to check your email regularly. I know that your lives can be busy, but you have to check it regularly, not only for at least these memos and reading them in a timely manner. So if you have questions, you can get those questions to me. But also you periodically get emails from the public that you've been sent to from, either clicking on the website or whatever, and those should be read in a timely manner. So there is a break I took during the holidays. I composed my memo today. I did email it to you the end of the business day today. I have passed out a hard copy. I'm asking you to please read those, and I've been sending them recently with read receipts, so I can just confirm that you have them and you've read them. On that, I just want to touch base. I already talked about where we are with the Public Works candidate. I recently had a meeting with IDOT. We, of course, have had frustration with this improvement at the Hainesville Road at 120, the right-hand turn lane that's supposed to go on 120, so you can turn onto Hainesville Road northbound. There was a delay on that project. Working in tandem with Lake County DOT, I went and met with IDOT to go over the project in detail and how we at least get it so the project could be still let in fall of 2016, because it's not going to be let this March as we were led to believe. They were looking to push it to March of 2017. We did want that to take place. In going over the project, understand that this also includes sidewalks on both sides, and I also took the opportunity to push that a pace pad and bus shelter would be put on the south side of 120, opposite of the current one, and came to find that almost 3 years ago, District 46 had submitted a form to IDOT saying that they were willing to donate the property for the temporary easements and right-of-way, and also pay their proportionate share for the sidewalk. And that was a red flag for me, because every few years we've had an issue with District 46 exploring trying to make Prairie View children walkers. And while walking to school would be ideal, and that's why years ago we tried to flip-flop the project and make Prairie View Community School where it would have been where Union Square Park is, that did not work out. Trying to make K through 4th graders walkers in this community, crossing 120, would be quite hazardous, so there was concern about that. So I'm going to give you the real Reader's Digest version. We had a secondary meeting where we met with District 46 here. I met with the superintendent last Saturday, her finance manager, the head of operations. I had Chief Perlini and our engineer Greg Gruen in the meeting. We discussed their plan, and remember their request to IDOT was 3 years ago. They did not even have the current information. I think I was better aware of how many buses actually go in out of that school that are truly from Hainesville, because that school also has K through 4 coming from Grays Lake, south side of Route 120. So basically the homes behind St. Gilbert's, as well as Round Lake Park children off of Hainesville Road, behind where the old roller rink was. That is all in the Grays Lake schools. So those buses would still be coming in. And I think they were under the impression that they would be eliminating the majority of the buses, and that would not be the case. The other question is, that all being said, this is still a hazardous situation. So Greg Gruen, and I talked to him earlier this afternoon, is arranging for a conference call to take place with the head of public safety at IDOT and with the finance manager and the head of operations of District 46. So I believe that that will nip it in the bud, if you will. If it doesn't, then the next issue would be a safety study, which I believe also would be prove that it would be too hazardous. So I don't want to cause any unnecessary alarm at this point. I'm just making you aware of the situation and that we're on top of it. So some of the details are in here. Other projects, obviously coming back from the holidays, we're still waiting to hear from some other parties regarding their development plans, and I expect to hear from them by the next board meeting. So hope to have more information for you then as well. The only thing I want to add is up to now it's been a fairly mild winter, but our recent snow events and ice storm, which really knocked everyone for a loop. And even with our recent snowstorm, we had kind of an unexpected freeze overnight, which created even more ice. And I think, as always, our contractor Dave Schultz and our internal crew, Tyler, they do a great job. I was somewhat dismayed and discouraged, as was the staff. I think people forget some things. We got calls from a number of seniors, and also, we're always willing to take care of our seniors who ask to be on the list, where we come and clear the apron of their driveway once we're done with the snow plowing. And also anybody who has a disability or has had a recent surgery will also help them as well. We had a lot of angry people not understanding why we didn't fully clean their apron. And the frustration was, we went and cleaned the apron, what are you talking about? And so it took a few days, and Dave Schultz and I talking and me driving out. What they don't understand is why there's ice on their apron. Our streets are relatively clear because we use beet juice, number one, okay? And obviously we're plowing the streets first. If we don't get to do the cleanup till the next day, the morning after, and it's frozen overnight, and we've had this ice storm, there's ice. My driveway has been shoveled, there is ice on it. So we've had a lot of angry seniors or other people on this list that feel we're not cleaning their aprons. I'm asking these people to understand this is a courtesy. It's not a paid service. We're happy to do it. But we have no way or time or crew to send back out and address that ice any further. Interestingly enough, I had several of these people tell me, but I have to be somewhere in the morning, and it sounds as if they're going somewhere on a regular basis. And my thought is, as much as we want to help these people, if they're working or have a daily commitment, then unfortunately they need to make arrangements to have their driveway cleared. And unfortunately we can't help them with that. So we're doing what we can. It is a courtesy. I don't want to make a choice to ever have to eliminate this, but it is really discouraging when we get this kind of feedback. I think it is limited to the ice activity. That's my hope. I hope in other snowstorms that wouldn't be the case. We also, Dave Schultz and I met with the chief briefly. We had some frustration. There's always the issue of people moving their cars parked on the streets for the plows. So we had some discussion about that. There is the challenge of Saturday night. Was it 2 inches? It was just at 2 inches. Do you make people move? You know, we didn't have the bulk of people going to work Sunday morning. We didn't have school buses, so we said, okay, we're not going to ticket, we're not going to tow. They're going to plow as best as they can. And I did the CTY call that went out at 11 Sunday morning to remind the people who on Holiday Lane have to move their cars at a different time by noon. And then I also mentioned the cars in Cranberry Lake North. And I also asked all our residents, while they shouldn't have parked on the street overnight, they were, perhaps, or that, please move your cars so our plows can go back and do a cleanup. So again, I'm appealing to residents to remember, if there is activity, please move your car. You can see when the plows have cleared. You can put your car back. If you want cleared streets, you need to move your car. You can't have it both ways. Let's move on to,
Question.
yeah.
Did IDOT include the upgrade of the street lights, the traffic lights?
No, Lake County DOT did. That's what got Lake County DOT. This project has always included, and the reason Lake County DOT got involved was, yes, this is the right-hand turn lane at 120 in Hainesville Road, and it is the updating of the traffic signals at that intersection and 120 and 134, not only to put newer and more sophisticated lights that have more controlled programming options, but they will also be directly hardwired or connected into the Lake County passage system. The cameras are there right now, but you cannot control the lights from Lake County Control Center. So the idea is that those would be able to be changed from the Lake County passage system, if need be. So if there was an accident or things occurred, even though the programming option should accommodate it, now they can override that. It has to be an IDOT person, I believe, that authorizes that change, but nonetheless the change can occur. Okay, let's move on to Great Age Club and any other general announcements. You're up, Georgine.
I'm reminding everybody that the Great Age Club meetings have changed to Thursday mornings at 10:30 to 12 here at the Village Hall, and then those that are interested would join us for lunch after. This past Thursday, we all enjoyed Ferris Bueller's Day Off as the movie of the month. And because everybody enjoyed it so much, we're going to do Risky Business. So even if you're not a senior, I guess if you really like to come and you have nothing to do.
If I'd known it was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I would have been here.
No underwear yet.
Dave?
Dankeschön. Okay, so any other announcements before we move on to business? Okay, first item up is an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Section 16 of the Village Code and eliminating the appointive office of Superintendent of Public Works.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried. Ordinance number 16-1-213.
Okay, second item up is a motion to reschedule the November 8th, 2016 regular board and committee of the whole meeting to November 15th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Did you think something was going to happen on the 8th?
God willing. No.
Now, I don't know if I say this or not, but what the heck. I asked Santa to bring me new presidential candidates and I didn't get them. Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion for adjournment of the regular board meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:01. I'll give you 1 minute and we're going to reopen for our committee of the whole. Pardon?
We'll see you later.
Maybe. Sorry, now.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost my agenda. Oh, there it is. Too much paper. Yeah.
Speaking of parking problems, I saw one dangerous solution here in town. I saw a video. Somebody did not move their car. So the neighbor took a hose out, hosed the car down for a very long period of time, developed a fair amount of ice coating the whole car.
You must have made your neighbor mad.
Set. Village of Hainesville, committee of the whole meeting will now come to order at 7:03 p.m. Can you hear me better? Tuesday, January 12th, 2016. Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Still here.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Here.
Georgianne Duberstein. Here. Barrett.
Here.
Hein.
Here.
Daly.
Here.
And George Duberstein.
Here.
Approval of tonight's agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for omnibus vote agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Hein.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And George Duberstein.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, first up under Committee of the Whole, Finance and Human Resources, Trustee Jerry Daly.
I've recently started an exercise program to get my cutting arm in shape for the budget.
Boo.
I'm that.
Anyway, that's all. I'm just sitting back waiting to get all those numbers in, and then I spoke with Dina tonight, and we will get together and go through it first time. And imagine within a week and a half, 2 weeks.
I'm hoping within a week and a half, 2 weeks, I have all the rest of everything back, and then I can put it in.
In the near future. That's all I have. Well, other than on the human resources, as mentioned before, I had a chance to sit in on the interviews of the last two candidates. Both were pretty qualified, and I do compliment Jerry for his work in this project, not only just getting the ads going, but doing all the scut work of setting up the interviews and whatnot. It takes a lot of time, so thank you, sir.
Second.
All in favor? That's it.
Okay. Economic Development Trustee Kevin Barrett. Kevin, I have a question.
Yes.
I sent you an email. I know it wasn't until this afternoon on this topic, so I don't know if you had a chance to read it, because I know you said.
No, I
you had an
haven't.
issue.
I've been tied up the last weekend and with some family things and some work, so I'm behind the eight ball on it, outside the fact that I went back and I looked at the Fine Line Engineering property, and he's piled more junk in there, so we're gonna have to get Lake County involved in it. It's gonna be tough to get it cleaned up over the winter time just because of, the snow and ice back there, but I think we're gonna need Lake County's help to get it addressed.
So we're in citation mode.
I would think so, yeah. I'll go back out and shoot some pictures tomorrow, because I have some free time tomorrow, and then I'll make sure that you have email copies of them. And we can address the January meeting tomorrow, because tomorrow's gonna be my free day, my only
Well,
day.
that's what my email was about. So in talking with Al Maiden and also with Linda from HPM, we're going to look at having the next meeting at the end of January or the end of February, because that accommodates everyone's schedule.
That'll fit my schedule better, because right now I'm in my peak food shipping season, so.
All right.
All right, beautiful, thank you.
Okay, so Public Safety, Trustee Dina Hine.
Hi. So I was able to finally post the emergency evacuation maps. There's one in the back of the room over there, and there's one down the hallway for the girls in the office. So if you think anything needs to be changed on them, let me know, because it's just cut and paste and tape, and that's all it is. I don't know how to use the computer, so that's what it is. So hopefully it's okay. I plan on working with the Public Works Manager once somebody's hired to do something in there so we can do it together. And Lake County Health Department has radon gas testing kits available for $10 for the month of January. So if you're interested in doing that, you can go to our website, and I think it's also going to be on the newsletter. And that's it.
Excellent job on the evacuation plan. The only thing is, when I came in today, I noticed the one here is higher.
It's way too-
It's way too high. It's way too high. It's got to be brought down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move the board over because I
And that's
had to
fine.
get a bigger frame. And then I'm driving home and I'm like, wait a minute, they're not gonna really, I'm taller than everybody. They're not gonna be able to see
Yeah,
it.
no, we can't read it. So I will have Tyler move over the board to
And then we can
accommodate
lower
that. Yeah, so we can lower it.
Public safety, a question that comes to mind. Terry, where are the emergency shut-offs for the pumps, for our fuel pumps? Are they in the garage?
They are in the garage,
Okay.
yes. And so, of course, we would use the breaker if we needed to, as a last resort to shut those off.
Just, I don't know why it jumped in my brain, but it did.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, Public Works, Trustee George Lieberstein. He did a wonderful presentation at the last meeting, and after discussion, he said he would go back and put his nose to the grindstone and come up with some more ideas. So we have that, and an excellent, well-written memo.
Where were we? We again, based on your request of the board, took another look at the recommendation we made. The impression we got was that the board wanted us to look at possibly raising it, giving some options for raising it from the recommendation we had initially. So we, Trustee Daly and Terry and Steve and I got together and we hashed this thing out. And basically we decided, well, first of all, we had a look again at the recommendations of our engineer, which was for $160,000 to $240,000 something. Annually, yes. And we also, so we kept that in mind, but we also wanted to keep the residents in mind, not get too far afield to raise our rates skyrocketing. So we tried to balance the two, and we, rather than giving you a myriad of other options to discuss again, we put our heads together and decided to keep it as simple as possible with those little ideas in mind. And we came up with just looking at the basic rate that everybody pays and raising that $10 a month, not touching the rates beyond, or the number of gallons beyond that basic rate, or as we originally suggested, not touching the sewer rates either. So that's our recommendation, and if you stretch it out over an annual basis, we're about 158,000 roughly, which is still below the lowest recommendation of our engineering firm, but is still a little bit more than we originally planned on, and would probably be a reasonable rate so that we can address our needs as we go forward.
And it's just shy of their lowest number.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Question, would it make sense if we did this to gradually phase this in, like, you know, one quarter goes up like $2.50 or $3 or something, so that everybody doesn't go into sticker shock, oh my God, my water bill went up $10 a month, and then you get flooded with phone calls? Would that make sense to do that? I mean, it's not gonna hit our goal for the first year, but we'd have it in place over a period of a year.
Well, we're not going to start this, the recommendation was we won't start this until the new fiscal year anyway.
Okay.
So we have time to.
I was thinking about sticker shock. I mean, we got grumbles and complaints about somebody not taking the ice off the apron in their driveway. Now we're gonna ask them for, you know, more money for the water bill. That's just, you know, that's just.
Well, we understand that, but
I don't. We
instead
gotta
of
do it. I
doing it
understand
now, then have a large sticker shock when we really need to do something.
Well, no, I get that. I was just wondering if there'd be some way we could phase this
As
in.
George
You know, the
it's
interesting
We haven't raised our rates in 19 years.
19
We
years.
have over 20 years.
Over 20 years. Okay.
We haven't raised the rates at all since the
Yeah.
system.
I don't see the water bill for our house. I just hand it to my wife because it's in her name.
Well, and the articles in the newsletter will talk about that fact. It will be well publicized between, you know, now, you know, if we make that recommendation, and if we agree or have a consensus tonight, then this will be an action item on the next board meeting.
Well, I think, I know we should do it. I was just wondering if there's some way we take a little bit of sting off for some of those that aren't as fortunate as.
I think you're gonna confuse people by trying to do some
Okay.
And
steps.
if you have between now and May to plan for it, then you should be able to put whatever money away so that you've got the
Okay, this is
10
a
extra
suggestion, that's
dollars a
all.
month.
The other side of the recommendation is that we are, put in, go ahead.
No, that's all right. We have an automatic increase every year of about $1 unless the board deems otherwise. So we can revisit this every year just as we do for the SSA, which is an automatic thing.
So if we don't get in a situation where it's 10 years from now and we're
Never
sitting
gotta
there
go back and
saying,
do this
why
again."
didn't we ever erase this, I mean,
We-
erase
I
this?
don't know, I thought at one time, I mean, a couple terms back, didn't we give back water numbers or something like that, or reduce the water bill, or we were talking about raising it, and I think Mike may go.
about a gallon.
Yeah, okay, Mike
We
may go.
reduced
Gallons, or was it the
From
amount?
10,000 to
from 10,000 to 8,000
okay.
for the base
All right.
amount.
That's what I
That's what
thought.
we
All
did.
right.
That's what we did.
My memory served me well then.
That's the only thing we did. Well,
Sometimes
I
I
mean,
don't know.
we originally looked at something like a CPI or something other than that, but we thought just giving a specific amount, leaving it at that, and the board can either raise it or lower it or leave it the same every year if they so choose, or economic.
So at budget time every year, we could look and say, are we gonna do the dollar or not? Or do we think we should just make it 50 cents or whatever? We could have that discussion. But it's on the radar to be looked at then on an annual
So it gets
basis.
reviewed once a year, okay.
Any other questions?
Nice job, George.
Thank you. What's the consensus?
I think
Well,
we're,
that's good.
are we
I think it's a
there?
good idea, because we gotta lay cash away for infrastructure improvements, otherwise Terry will be tearing what's left of his hair out of his head and break both.
Okay, so I think we have consensus, so Madam Clerk, this will be an agenda item for,
The 23rd,
yeah,
26th.
26, and we'll have that in ordinance form.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. And the only item I have under administration for tonight is, I thank everybody for their patience. I'm happy, as Kelly said, we're actually further ahead of the game with the budget in some ways. But I still have a lot of open categories that I'm waiting for answers from other people, or quotes, ballpark figures, so, I am here most of the day tomorrow instead of running around the meetings, so Kelly and I are gonna try to just sit and concentrate on that. I do want to say, one of the things I'll be doing first thing in the morning is Congressman Dole is having a mayor's conference call at 8:45, and so I will be on that. Obviously, there'll be a lot of discussion about the transit bill that was, passed at the federal level and what that can mean to our area. And, go over the ever-present wish list. So I'm just mentioning that if there's anything else you want to make sure that is mentioned or discussed, let me know tonight or send me a quick email before 8:45 because I'll be on that phone call. So I said, it's so ironic that things have flip-flopped, that it's actually easier to get things from the federal government right now than it is from the state of Illinois. So never thought that would happen. All right, if there's no further discussion, motion, public comment. I'm gonna hold the crowd back, but Dave, I don't want you to miss your chance. Nothing, okay. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:06.